Every single time somebody tells you no, smash it. Every single time someone tells you you can't, knock it down. Every single time someone tells you it's too difficult, knock it out.
Good night, Irene. Oh, shit! Mamma mia!
Welcome to our podcast with yours truly, Immacolata Giacoli. I am a licensed real estate broker in New York for 20 years, and we're going to be talking about real people, real stories in real time, giving you the power to go from renting to owning, also giving you the power to just take control of your future wealth. Join us, and we hope you enjoy the show. So a little bit about my history in real estate. I started getting licensed in the year 2002. I am an independent broker since 2017, and I did spend quite a few years at Douglas Elliman and a couple of years at the Corcoran Group before I decided to jump off the diving board. Why is it important for you to know that? So that you understand I have over 20 years in the business, and I've helped many people go from renting to owning in just a few small steps. So a little bit about my past career. I was in the travel industry, and I absolutely loved it. I thought I would never do anything other than travel and see the world. But things change in your life, and so I had to change careers. Back in my travel profession, I handled President Bill Clinton's travel, and he was the founder of the Clinton Foundation. And I was invited to his 60th birthday party celebration at the Beacon Theater on the West Side with the Rolling Stones. And at that time, I had no idea that I was even pregnant with my son, who is now 18 years old next month. And the reason why I bring that up is because everything is real estate, right? Not just the Beacon Theater. Everything that you do and see is pretty much real estate. So, I want to tell you that a couple of things to keep in mind. One, schools are also real estate. The post office is also real estate. Why do I bring that up? Because it's important. The airport is real estate. You know, the building on top of the land is real estate. And inside, there's all those little stores you love to go to when you're waiting for your flight to take off. So I used to work at TWA, and one day I was working the gate. I want to tell you a little funny thing that happened before I get into the thick of the real estate. So we're working the gate, which I loved. I loved working the gate, announcing the flight, boarding the aircraft, meeting all kinds of people, especially on delays. They would scream and yell at you and all this kind of fun stuff. So it was a delayed departure to West Palm Beach. And my colleague and I at the time, working the gate out of LaGuardia Airport, make the announcement that the flight's delayed. And so a lot of people start approaching. You know, I guess if you've traveled, you understand what that's like. So this one gentleman comes up to the counter, screaming and yelling his head off. Do you know who I am? Do you know who I am? So my colleague looks at me and I look at him, and no, we don't know who you are. So my colleague was so quick-witted. He picks up the microphone and decides to make an announcement and says, if anyone recognizes the man at the counter, to please step up, because he clearly doesn't know who he is. That's the kind of fun we used to have at the airport. That's the kind of fun I like to bring into real estate. I don't want everything to be so heavy and so crazy. So just remember, everything you see is real estate. So keeping that in mind, when you're thinking of going from renting to owning and you feel like it's such a gigantic step, it's really not. It just requires a little bit of action, a little bit of planning, and a little bit of time. Now, the biggest factor in purchasing is not just the down payment, it's also your FICO score. That's the Fair Isaac Corporation created a method to measure your credit worthiness. Why is that important? Because most transactions in real estate require mortgages, and the bank is the one that's delivering that money. So when the bank has to bring that money, in order for them to know they're going to get paid back, they need to check your FICO score. And it's really important to know what that is. Once a year, you can have that run for free, totally for free, with Experian or TransUnion, any one of the large credit reporting companies. So remember, it's critical to know where you stand with your credit. And if your credit isn't so great, there are companies out there that'll be more than happy to clean it up. So, with the FICO score, that's the rating that the banks will use when they determine how much your borrowing power is based on your income and other factors. So, going from renting to owning requires action, requires attention, and a little bit of planning, and that's really all it's going to take. If you're unsure or uncertain where to begin, just the first stop is call a mortgage professional, and they'll be more than happy to get the ball rolling. Once you have that squared away, you can then start your search online or with a professional like myself who's going to help you in the area in which you seek to live. The other thing that we want to keep in mind is that we want to make sure that you remove the fear associated with making any type of real estate decisions because debt is involved. This is not a bad debt. This is a manageable debt. This isn't like your credit card debt. This isn't like living outside your means, overspending, and creating chaos in your life. This is about stepping stones to wealth. This is about creating something amazing for yourself. And the reason why I love to talk about that is because a lot of people have such a bad view of debt. We've all been down that road before. We have all gotten carried away, overspending, using credit cards, can't stop shopping. You need the latest sneakers or shoes or anything like that. But really, ideally, that kind of debt you need to curtail. That kind of debt is the only debt that you need to control. But as far as mortgage leveraging, you definitely want to use the power of a bank whenever you're buying. So, my favorite person on the internet to always listen to is Rich Dad Poor Dad, and I talk about him often, and I'll probably talk about him over and over and over again. Robert Kiyosaki. His father kept telling him, go to school, get your PhD, do something like that. And he said, no, I don't want to be poor forever. I want to be rich. And that's what he is. He uses leverage all the time, using financing on his purchases all the time. And he always talks about turning that debt into gold, like you can have real gold, like literal gold coins or brick and mortar, more gold. And it kind of compounds over time. I want to give you a little bit of an example of what that looks like and why he believes you can turn your debt into gold. Once you purchase a property and you wait a couple of years because you're living in it because that's where you wanted to live, your property will gain what we call equity. Equity is something that isn't so tangible, but it is real. So you buy a property, for example, $100,000. In a couple of years, that property is worth $300,000. You now have $200,000 worth of equity. Okay? That equity gives you the opportunity and allows you to do a couple of things. You would call a mortgage broker again, ask them to refinance your loan. So they'll refinance it. By refinancing it, they do a cash out on the equity and they give you that money, and you can consult yourself with the CPA, but most chances that they're going to say that becomes tax-free money. So going back to Robert Kiyosaki, one of my favorite people on the internet, he's absolutely right. You turn your debt into equity. You can't do that with credit cards, but you can definitely do that with mortgages, equity, and buying real estate. So you can take that $200,000 out, you can spend it foolishly or reinvest it in another property and continue to grow your legacy in real estate and your wealth. Or you can pull it out and actually go and buy gold bars. Yep, actually go and buy gold with it. It doesn't matter what you do with it. But if you choose to take it out and buy a Ferrari, I bet the Ferrari is going to depreciate over time, whereas the real estate seems to always appreciate. So remember, the debt that we speak about is a debt that actually creates wealth. We're not talking about a debt that you've been taught to believe that debt is something that will bury you. It will only be your demise if you're using credit card debt foolishly and spending it on way too many things. The biggest challenge I've come across with first-time buyers is fear. So we definitely want to make sure that we learn to abandon the fear. They get scared and nervous that they'll be committed to a 30-year mortgage with a bank and married to this like commitment. So, real estate is sort of like dating. There's a lot of contracts involved, so it's sort of like a marriage certificate, right? You get a mortgage and you're kind of married to the mortgage. But in the meantime, that mortgage goes to work for you. That debt is actually actively working for you and creating bigger opportunities for the future. So we have fear that comes into the picture. We also have limiting beliefs that people keep insisting they know more, or they tell you no, or they tell you that you're crazy or you can't have it and why do you want it. Don't listen to anybody. You have to quiet those voices down immediately. Don't even tell anybody. Just make the decision that's better for you. Why rent and throw your money in the fireplace when you can actually use that money and apply it to yourself? Most people will tell you those things to hold you back. A lot of times people don't want to see you succeed because it's a reflection of their failure or their inaction. But everything in life takes action. We can't just sit there and not do anything. We can't be afraid to speak up, and we can't be afraid to create the change we need. Look at all the wonderful musicians we've been surrounded by through life. Michael Jackson, an icon, an amazing, super talented man. His song, The Man in the Mirror, if you just Google the lyrics to that song, he says just start with the man in the mirror and create that change, make that change happen. I mean, the list is endless. You have Supertramp. They had the Logical song. It was a great song talking about how life was so wonderful until they sent him away, and then he became so cynical. So you see, outside voices always influence us. Our musicians and music in the world of music have always been around to send us messages, but we're always too silly to listen to the actual lyrics and what they truly mean and how empowering they could be. Whitney Houston, another amazing, amazing icon, a huge giant in her field. It's unfortunate how she ended up, but here it goes. Her song too, "The Greatest Love is Inside of Me." That's her song, right? The greatest love is inside of you. Don't listen to anyone else. She always references going inside, not outside. Forget the outside. I'm going to show you how you get rid of the outside voices a little bit further into this podcast so that you can actually go out, buy yourself one of these cute little gadgets, have fun with it, and start abandoning that fear and start listening to your inner voice that we all were born with. We are all here to have the same successes so long as that's what you wish to have. So just know it takes a little bit of effort, a little bit of time, a little bit of reconditioning the mind to know that you are very powerful, to know that you possess everything you need to possess, and that we're all here to contribute to just this one planet. Don't let that ever hold you back. So getting back to just touching on a couple of other things besides music and besides the debt and the mortgaging, I know that going from renting, which a lot of people are having challenges with in New York. I do want to make this one announcement. I did read recently 2 articles, one this morning and one last night. So for all of the people that follow me on TikTok that are constantly talking about city vouchers, Section 8, FEPS, HASA, and having a very difficult time living in the shelters and finding permanent housing for them, their children, I will in the future hopefully have some of them on here to talk about their trials and tribulations with the system. Good news. Many New York City buildings are no longer going to do the lottery system. And I think that's wonderful, amazing news. So what does that really mean for you? It means affordable housing is going to be more within your reach than you think. The lotteries were a lot of red tape, a lot of bureaucracy, a lot of nonsense, almost impossible to clear. Some people told me they were on lists for 5 years and never got an apartment, yet so many apartments are vacant in these new developments. How is that happening? Right now, they're working on eliminating the housing lottery, which is awesome news. So anytime a building goes up and has X amount of units designed and designated for affordable housing, they're going to allow brokers like myself and other real estate agencies to actually advertise it so that we can actually meet the public demand. And what does that mean? You apply directly for that unit now. No longer going on a waiting list, no longer going through the lottery system. We just make sure that you qualify, you send in the application, and then that should reduce the waiting time for approval. So good things are happening in New York. I know everyone thinks that it's like doom and gloom. It's not. That's another limiting belief. Always look at the cup as being half full and not half empty. I live my life with knowing that it's half full. I don't even want to think about it being half empty. So for me, half full is what it is all the time. And it could be for everyone else. It's just a mindset that you need to switch off and understand. So that's good news coming down the pike for New York. Happy to have read those 2 articles. I did post one of them on my TikTok. If you want to take a look at it, you can. I also have a blog that's called Ask Imma, and that blog is also available for your reading pleasure. I talk about all kinds of fears and limiting beliefs because, I too myself was a victim of being held back in my life, even to just make these type of podcasts and talk in front of a camera because of fear of this or fear of that. So I allowed these invisible chains, as I call them, hold me back. I talk about it freely in one of my coaching programs that I designed for people who always are stuck in this space because I didn't follow a lot of dreams that I had because of people's negative comments towards them. So if housing is what you're looking to secure, it's possible. You must not put any negative thoughts in your mind. I don't care how hard you think it is, it's possible. If you allow that to happen, it will hold you back. If you're looking to purchase a house and you're not even sure where to begin or how to start, and you've watched the podcast and you still don't know and you're still confused because your particular mindset needs to understand it step by step, call us. We're going to be live. One of these days, we're going to go live taking phone calls. You can email me, DM me. I might not respond immediately, but I will definitely get to it. It's a passion of mine to share what I know and pass it on to everybody so that you can make the right decisions in your life and create that path. I have clients that are now on house number 3 and they're not even in New York. So wherever you're thinking of going, wherever you think your buying power is, please give me a call and let me know what I could do to help you. But in the meantime, you know what? I have this amazing little thing I'm going to break out now. And yes, this is for the little kid that's still trapped inside this big body here. This is called my little friend. On my blog, I have the mole game. I don't know, you go to a carnival, right? Everyone loves playing this game at a carnival because it empowers you to smash things down. Well, look at this cute little toy I found online. It's amazing. It even makes lights. Oh, guess what? Every single time somebody tells you no, smash it. Every single time someone tells you you can't, knock it down. Every single time someone tells you you shouldn't do this because of this reason and that reason, or it's too difficult, knock it out. You have the power. You hold the mallet and just use your brain power to get you where you need to go. This little toy, so cute and adorable. You can find it online. But it helps. It helps reduce stress. You can bang away at it all day. You can even label each mole: fear, regret, sad, whatever you want to name it. Whatever holds you back in your life, let it go. If you're thinking of buying any type of real estate at all, if you're thinking of leasing real estate, if you want to open a restaurant, if you want to even create a sound studio, give me a call. Let's talk about it. I look forward to sharing all of my 20 years experience with you. I look forward to getting you into a home. I look forward to hearing your stories, even if you don't want to buy a home and you just want to rent and float around the world for the rest of your life. We'd love to hear about it. We'd love you to write it in. I'll be hopefully answering some Q&A by next week, and we want you to continue watching us. So please tune in, and we look forward to continuing the growth process and getting you home. Thanks for joining us today.